and welcome to Earth SciShow, the podcast where we explore the latest discoveries in Earth sciences. I'm your host, MrEarthGuy, and today's topic is an interesting one. We're looking at how diamonds are brought to the surface by hot magma from deep within inside the Earth. But before we begin, if you enjoy these podcasts, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that follow and notification icon on your platform. It helps share this podcast with similar nerds who love science just as much as we do. Without further ado, let's begin. Diamonds are one of the most precious and sought-after gems in the world. But do you know where they come from or how they form? In this episode, we're going to dive into the fascinating world of kimberlites, a type of volcanic rock that carries diamonds from the mantle to the surface. We're also going to learn about a new study that reveals the geodynamic processes that drives kimberlite magmatism and its connection to the deep mantle structures. Diamonds are made of pure carbon that crystallizes under extreme pressure and temperature conditions in the Earth's mantle, the layer of rock between the crust and the core. The mantle is about 2,900 kilometers thick and makes up about 80% of the Earth's volume. The classic picture of the Earth being cut in half, looking like a layer cake with the crust, mantle, outer core and inner core, while it's somewhat factually correct, it's actually not as uniform as it looks. For example, the mantle is not uniform. It's divided into different layers based on its physical properties. We have the upper mantle, which extends from the crust to about 410 kilometers depth. We have the transition zone, which is between 410 kilometers to 660 kilometers depth. And then we have the lower mantle, which is between 660 and 2,900 kilometers deep. And when it comes to diamonds, they form at depths between 120 to 660 kilometers. This extends all the way down to the transition zone, where the temperature is around 900 to 1300 degrees Celsius, and the pressure is about 50,000 times higher than it is at the surface. These conditions preferentially occur below the thick continental roots, which are regions of old and stable continental crust that extend deep into the mantle. Continental roots are also favorable to the formation and preservation of diamonds because they provide a high-pressure, low-temperature environment that prevents diamonds from turning back into graphite. But how do diamonds get from the mantle to the surface? The answer is kimberlites, a type of volcanic rock that erupts through ancient, thick continental crust. Kimberlites are rich in volatiles such as water and carbon dioxide that lower the melting point of the mantle and make it easier for kimberlite magma to rise rapidly through the cracks and fractures. Kimberlites also carry fragments of the mantle called xenoliths, which sometimes contain diamonds. Kimberlites are very rare and only occur in certain regions of the world, such as Africa, Canada, Russia, and Australia. Scientists have been studying kimberlites for a long time to understand their origins and evolution. Kimberlites are not only important for diamond mining, but also for advancing knowledge of Earth's evolution since they bring rare samples of the deep mantle to the surface. A recent study published in Nature Geoscience by researchers from Australia has shed new light on the geodynamic processes that drive kimberlite magmatism. They use supercomputers to create three-dimensional geodynamic models of the Earth's mantle. The models accounted for the movement of continents on the surface and into the mantle over the past 1 billion years. And by using these supercomputers, they managed to calculate the movement of heat upwards from the core and discovered that broad mantle upwellings, or pillars of heat, connect the very deep Earth to the surface. The models show that these pillars supply heat underneath kimberlites, and they explain most kimberlite eruptions over the past 200 million years. The models successfully captured kimberlite eruptions in Africa, Brazil, Russia, and partly in the United States and Canada. They also predicted previously undiscovered kimberlite eruptions in East Antarctica and Western Australia. From the modelled results, they managed to ascertain that towards the centre of the pillars, mantle plumes rise much faster and carry dense material across the mantle, which may explain chemical differences between the kimberlites in different continents. This study provides new insights into the connection between deep mantle dynamics and surface volcanism. It also has implications for diamond exploration and plate tectonics reconstruction. By mapping global kimberlite potential from reconstructions of mantle flow over the last billion years, the researchers suggest that their models could be used to discover new kimberlite pipes. That's all for today's episode on Earth SciShow. I hope you enjoyed learning about how diamonds are brought to the surface by hot magma from deep inside the Earth. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for more exciting science stories in our next episode. I'm your host, MrEarthGuy, and remember, stay curious.